Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about all kinds of relationships, even though Valentine's Day is coming up. But it can be romantic relationship, it can be relationship with friends, with parents, with kids, or with ourselves. So I'm going to touch as much as possible, but I think that relationship is really important subject. When people come to me, it's usually about relationships. Yesterday, I had a beautiful session with my student that is 60 years old and her mom that is around 8 years old. And it was about relationships. And I looked at those beautiful women with so much life experience, very successful, very wise women, and I enjoy sitting with them. And I saw how much struggle, we have and people have in relationships that can be solved easily if we learn the way to communicate. People that do inner work, meditate or reflect, usually needs to change contract, I call it, in the relationships. This is the next step. The first step usually is working with yourself and your inner relationship. How you treat yourself, are you hard with yourself, do you criticize yourself, are you kind to yourself and compassionate? But after you start working with that, you realize that many of your relationships are not updated because you are changing and evolving. I also just had a session with a couple. She's pregnant, and it was about relationship and conflict. So I'm very happy to be here today. Before I start, I would love if you can share in the chat when you sign up to this masterclass. What did you think about which relationship? Was it first relationship with your partner, with your parent, with somebody at work? I just curious because I can talk about it for hours, but if you will just share something small, just who did you think about? It will help me be more specific. So, family, my wife, work. Good. So it's everything. Okay. So first of all, I love books. I love to read, and I want to recommend you to buy the book of Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, because I feel that a book is not enough. It's not enough, but it's a good start to understand how violent we can be verbally, while we even don't call it sometimes violent. Criticism is so common, right? We are used to be criticized, even at work, right? We get a lot of criticism in a way, or feedback. You can call it in a different way. From our parents, from our teachers, we received a lot of feedback and criticism. And when you ask a parent, why do you criticize your son or your daughter? They usually say, because I want them to be successful, because I want them to be happy, to achieve. So the mind, we explain to ourselves why we need to be very critical to our kids and to ourselves. But is it really true? And what's happening when somebody is so critical to himself? Sometimes the opposite. You notice those moments that you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, and then I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And then you just feel not good enough, right? And you're stuck and you're frozen, where you say to yourself, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't. And suddenly you're stuck and you're frozen. Or some people say to themselves, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. So then, okay, I'm fat, so I will eat anyway, it doesn't matter. Eat another cake. So basically, the criticism will not, while um, positive affirmation and sometimes also encouragement, uh, with also seeing, the places we can grow in will be wonderful. So the inner work, when you start the work, you take responsibility. It's not criticizing yourself, but you take responsibility of your part. And in relationship, many times the problem is that we don't take responsibility, that we are blaming each other, right? You're blaming, you're thinking the problem is outside. my boss, my problem is my work, is my wife, right? My problem is my kid. And usually it's not true, because everything that exists in your life exists for a reason, right? And unless somebody is really violent or abusive, it's something for you to learn, right? There is things to learn and to evolve. So first of all is thinking about what is your part in that without blaming. And this is also something important, because we don't need to blame ourselves in order to apologize. We don't need to be hard with ourselves and criticize ourselves in order to grow. We can just understand that everybody have things to grow in, and what I'm going to do in order to evolve. Because when you're in a certain place, your relationships also, it's like mirrors to your being. We cannot really have good relationship without communication. And the way to communicate is important. I can teach you today, and I'm going to teach you today, to say the same thing in a different way. And usually, when we talk about relationships, so it's not going well, right? The relationship you came, the reason you came today, it's a relationship that makes you occupied, and something is not really balanced or tuned, and the change is needed. If it's true for you, it's true also for the other person. If it's not really, right for you, or something is not working for you, and we assume it's also for your partner, it's also for work. When you procrastinate with that, when you wait too long and you start to build a case inside, you know, what will happen, what you will feel eventually? Anger and frustration. If you will not communicate at work your needs, your things are not working for you, and you will accumulate and accumulate, or you will just leave, or you'll get fired, because it will not, again, if it's not working for you, it's not working there as well, or you'll burst. Some people is just like pressure cooker. You hold. So, and well, the beauty is, first of all, if you sit with yourself, sometimes journaling about this relationship, sometimes just, sitting and thinking about it, breathing into it, the next step will be communication. Why it's so hard to communicate? Fear, right? We all have fears. I don't know if you had a good experience with someone, that you had a conversation about things that are not working. And it was the energy was good. It was flowing. You felt seen. You felt heard. The other person also felt at ease. This is a really beautiful experience, and it's healing. Most of the time, it's not like that. But we can reach this point that we can talk about things that inside you feel your belly, you know, and you feel fear and you feel energy that is not comfortable, but you slow down and you see the other, and something else is happening there. We are going to practice a little bit. If people will volunteer, we can also take a real case and practice communication. It's so important with kids. I have two kids, and one is becoming a teenager. How to talk about things without stress, without trying to achieve, without manipulations, right? Without fear, without anger, without all those emotions. Those emotions will not help. So we talked today about communication, but a lot of inner work is needed before we reach this state of sitting with someone that is important for us, and have a very balanced and calm communication. First of all, we need to clean our anger. If you come to this conversation with anger, you will never be heard. Many people say to me, "But I already talked about it with my mom. But I already talked about it. It will not help. It never helped." But when we think about it, it happened with anger. It happened in a way of attacking, and this is not communication. It will not work. It will just bring distance. Another thing that we don't want to do is justification. Yesterday, when I met the mother and the daughter, 6 years old and 8 years old, mother, I told to the mother, you don't justify, you just listen. It doesn't matter, of course, that husband was really tough and you had a hard time and maybe depression after birth. And if you'll bring that, but it's true, it's facts. But if you'll bring that when your daughter is sharing her pains, you are creating a distance because you're focusing on yourself. You are justifying and explaining. And this is so hard not to do. Think about that. When somebody is coming to you and saying it's not working or with criticism or something, the first thing you want to do is to explain to him why. And we never want I want to believe that you don't want to hurt anybody in purpose. So you have a reason, right? You have a reason why you didn't call. You have even a reason for your anger. You have a reason why you weren't there. But if you bring that, you bring your mind into a situation of emotions, you're creating distance. And then it's even harder to heal. Because when somebody comes to you with something that is bothering him and you are explaining, what he will feel. It happened to you before. You came with something and it was hard for you, to say those things, but the other person justified or explained. So part of you is saying, oh, there is explanation, but the other part of you that came emotional feel, I'm not seen again. Why it's so hard to apologize? For some people, it's easy to apologize. I'm happy if it's easy for you. It's supposed to be easy. And the apology is not like, I'm sorry I hurt you, I'm sorry. Or there are some people apologizing, but you feel it's like not real, like it's like more like reading from a book or a flyer. Why it's so hard to apologize? We have power in words, so much power that we can use through words. And there is no right or wrong. So I'm touching so many things, right? So to say I'm sorry, to practice that. There was a Zen master that I didn't meet him, but it's in the books and stories. That when he said goodbye, every time he said goodbye, he said, I'm sorry and I love you. Even to somebody you met just today. Imagine you meet him and he's saying to you, you talk about something. Before you go, he said, I'm sorry and I love you. Bye. So people ask him, why do you do that? So he said, I want to practice. I want to practice to say those words, right? So to say I'm sorry, it's so important. And I love you, you can say, but you can also show in those conversations. Those are not easy. Those conversations. Think about something specific, or somebody has kinds of conversation with them. That something that is not working for them, or you came with something you want to share. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. First of all, if you're the one that wants to share, you prepared, right? And you already came a little bit stressed and you don't know how it will end. And there are all kind of worries and what you have to do is like just in a very way. So those are really important moments that we remember. So this person came to me with all that and he's dealing with it for a while. And the only thing you want to do is to listen and to give space, not to prepare, not to think what I'm going to answer, not to justify or explain, just to be a container while so many emotions are running inside, right? This is why it's important when you have something important to say to your wife or family member or at your work, and it's a bit different work and family, and like I'm going to separate soon about work and more, relationships that are closer. But if you have something to say, you need to remember not to attack and not um, to blame, not to blame and not to criticize. I'm going to summarize after everything. It's not a lot of instructions. You don't want to attack, like I said, with anger or, to hurt or to revenge or to criticize. How I can say something that I was hurt about without criticizing? You know how? Because there is no right or wrong. I don't believe I'm right. It doesn't, not everybody are the same. Everybody are different. Different childhood, different imprint, different beliefs. Your wife is not wrong. Your husband is not wrong. You are different. So if I'm coming with this mindset of I'm different, but still this is it's not working for me. Something, specific, a few things are not working for you. You don't need to justify. Your partner is sharing something that is hard for him or her, and you don't need to justify. It's okay not to agree, but you still learn to give space, to apologize if it touched you, to cry if you can, if not from outside, from within, to say something nice, just to be. It's so hard, right? Just to be with that, with the discomfort. We learn not to stay in discomfort. People are doing everything they can to be comfortable. The best bed, the best pillow, the best blanket, all the time with screens, not to have just moment of discomfort. When if you have traffic, you will listen to podcasts, you'll talk to a friend, you'll listen to music, you'll do everything you can in order to be comfortable. Think about that. And in those moments of communication, you're not comfortable. And sometimes I'm sending you to do that. Go and create this conversation, create this, a moment with your loved ones or with work. Why? I don't want to. Part of you is saying, why? It's just, it's so hard. But how can we live without communication? Inside, we think we have beliefs, we have ideas, and we have a lot of emotions. If you are not communicating, you create a wall, you create distance. Your partner not supposed to know what you want. We have this idea, if I will have the right partner, or if I will find my job, the purpose of my life, everything will flow. They will just know what I want. They will be there for me without me needing even to say something. This is very romantic. I never met a couple like that. I never met something like that. Life is challenging and we are here to grow. Relationships are challenging. It's supposed to be like that. And I see it as beautiful because I see opportunity to learn how to evolve, be together, how to get along, with everyone without putting a mask and then being complying and smile, to be authentic, and how to get along, and sometimes how to say no and how to say yes. We learn so many things in relationships, basically. So I'm going to talk a lot about a lot of things. I'm going to create some order in all that. First of all, is the understanding that it's not happening to you; it's happening for you. Okay, you're not a victim. You are there for a reason, and those are your mirrors for a reason. So if something is not working, responsibility. It's not their fault. I think for you to learn and to grow and to evolve. You're in this job, there is a reason you're there. Let's explore together. To live, you can always live. It's easy. But to learn, sometimes you need to leave as well, but not to escape. Sometimes you try, and it's just not working. And after years of suffering, people say to me, "No, this is it." Okay, if it's your truth, if you don't have, it's so nice to leave a relationship with no doubt. You just know it's just the end. It's like a tree that dies. It dies. It's dead. The relationship is dead. So if you leave from this place, totally okay. But if you leave because of inner debate and you're not sure and you are restless and the ocean is stormy, or you run away or withdraw, I'm not sure it's the right decision. Maybe still you have something to learn there. It's not complete. So first of all is to understand you're not a victim. It's happening for you. And it's beautiful. Second is to know there are not right or wrong. In Zen, We learned a lot. There is no good or bad, right or wrong. Of course, not talking about evil, right? Good or bad in a way. If it's raining right now, oh, it's sunny. Today it's a sunny day. It's not good or bad. It's just sunny, right? This is a yellow. It's not good or bad. It's just yellow. So basically, my partner did that. It's not good or bad. He did that. Okay. When you think it's good or bad, it's right or wrong. You're starting to mess with yourself. It's perfect as it is. Maybe not perfect for you. Yeah. But when you come to a conversation like that without the belief that you are right, you got hurt, the way to live is like that, you lost. You lost. First of all, the energy will be, very strong, and there will not be really a person who will listen to you. So we said no right or wrong, and it happened for you and not to you. You're not a victim. And then we need to learn how to see the other. People see themselves, and this is the problem. Why people come to me, to create a bridge? Because each side sees themselves, only themselves, usually. And in order to see the other, you need to really put part of you to rest. This is why meditation is so helpful. In meditation, when you sit, there are many voices telling you, I don't want to be here. I don't want to sit 30 minutes to do nothing. I'm not comfortable. I have pain in my body. I want to lay down. I want to eat something. I want to drink something. I want to eat. I have work to do. I have things I want to do. I'm wasting my time. But you learn how to calm the voices down, to put it aside. When you don't have this practice, it's very hard because you try to listen. Even now, you try to listen to me, and I'm speaking really passionately and fast, right? But if you think in the same time, you miss the next sentence, right? How can you just listen without thinking? It's not good or bad, right? I'm here for a reason. Everything you can practice right now. You're not thinking now. There is nothing to think about right now. Now you're receiving, and you'll think about it later. Maybe you'll take something from this master, maybe not, but not thinking right now. So this is the art of listening. Now this is a practice by itself. Just to listen, somebody came to you with a problem, and you listen, and you feel, and you connect it to your body. And you don't just answer from your mind, fast, 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 just to close the file, to be right. So this is the third thing. If you're the one that is initiating the conversation, you need a little bit of courage, right? It's a courage mixed. It's like a stew. It's mixed with the understanding that you're here to grow and you want to do it, and also the understanding that if you will not do it, the price will be really big. Because in the beginning, the problem is small, but very fast it will grow, and it will create a gap. So if you have all that together, you are creating communication, and then you need a quiet place, right? And you need to set time. And you set time for a meeting. And then you need to decide that you are not going to blame or to criticize or to belittle. You're just going to share your feelings. And